Welcome back to the deep dive. We take your sources, find the deepest nuggets, and, well, unpack them right here. Today, we're diving into Chapter 1 of the Bhagavad Gita. It's called Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now, you might think ancient wisdom, unfolds somewhere quiet, a serene ashram, maybe, but nope. This epic spiritual dialogue kicks off on a literal battlefield. Clash of steel, war drums. The whole thing, it's intense and maybe a bit surprising. But this setting, it's not just background noise. It feels like it's meticulously designed. It primes us, gets us ready for teaching so deep they maybe could only come out of a crisis like this. So our mission today is to really understand how this seemingly chaotic opening chapter sets the stage, prepares the ground for some truly profound spiritual insights.
It's fascinating, isn't it? And right away, the first thing that jumps out is how the battlefield itself is named. It's called Dharmaksheta.
Dharmaksheta.
Yeah, literally, the field of duty, or you could say the field of righteousness.
Yes.
So straight away, this tells us it's not just about a physical war, not just armies fighting, with Lord Kya actually present there. Well, this whole field of duty becomes a kind of crucible, a place where dharma, righteousness itself, is being tested.
A divine stage, almost.
Exactly. And it implies the outcome isn't just about who wins the battle militarily. It suggests something more like a predetermined triumph of righteousness, rooted in divine justice, favoring the pachas. And if you zoom out, think bigger picture. It really invites this allegorical reading, too, this Dharmaksheta. It could be seen as the human heart, our own inner battlefield.
Where we fight our own battles between duty and, well, maybe attachment.
Precisely, that internal struggle we all kind of face.
Okay, and that idea, that allegorical battlefield, it seems to play out immediately. Like in the very first lines, we meet the blind king, the Taro. He's anxiously asking his secretary, Sanjaya, what's happening. And what really strikes me is how his physical blindness, it feels like such a powerful symbol, a symbol for a kind of spiritual blindness, maybe?
I think that's exactly right.
Because he keeps saying, my sons, clinging to them, but then he refers to the others as the sons of Pado. He disowns them, in a way.
Yeah, that possessiveness, that my versus them.
So how does that contrast with Sanjaya? Because Sanjaya has this mystic vision, right?
Yeah.
He sees everything impartially.
Exactly. Sanjaya sees things as they are, thanks to a blessing. The Tadara sees things through his attachments and anxieties. It sets up this core tension right from the beginning, material illusion, this kind of clouded vision versus spiritual reality, clear sight.
Okay, so perception is key. And then the war actually starts.
Right, and the contrast gets even sharper. First, grandfather Bhumadeva blows his conch shell. It's powerful, sure, but then Lord Kinsa and Arjuna blow their conch shells, and the text calls them transcendental.
Transcendental conch shells. What does that signify?
Well, the text is pretty explicit. It says they shatter the hearts of the opposing side. It signifies no hope of victory for them.
Wow. So it's not just noise, it's a psychological blow, a spiritual one.
Definitely both. It shows the immense power that comes from divine presence, from being aligned with righteousness. And what's also really fascinating here is Kinsa's role. Think about this. Arjuna asks Kinsa, to drive the chariot out between the armies.
Right, so he can see who he's up against.
Yes. And Kinsa, who's called a Suta, the infallible one, the supreme person, he just joyfully does it. He acts as Arjuna's charioteer.
The supreme serving his devotee, that is quite something.
It really is. It shows the Lord actually takes pleasure, takes joy in serving those who are devoted to him. It perfectly sets the stage for the conversation that's about to happen, a divinely guided dialogue.
Okay, but Arjuna asks Konta to take him there. Doesn't that also suggest maybe a moment of real doubt, maybe even fear for Arjuna himself?
Yeah.
It's not just setup. He's facing something immense.
Oh, absolutely. It's a moment of profound crisis for him.
Because when he gets there, between the armies, and he sees them, his kinsmen, his teachers, people he loves and respects.
He's completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, the text describes him trembling, his mouth drying up, his bow, the mighty Gechava, slipping from his hand. His mind is just reeling.
It looks like weakness, doesn't it?
It really does. But here's where it gets interesting, the twist you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The commentaries, the purports, they say something different.
They explain that this intense distress, this compassion, it isn't actually a flaw. It's seen as a manifestation of his soft-heartedness and that quality, that sensitivity.
That's what makes him ready, fit to receive this deeper knowledge.
Exactly. It purifies him, in a sense, makes him receptive. His heart is open because it's breaking.
So he starts arguing against fighting. He brings up good points, conventionally speaking.
Right. Like, what's the point of victory if it means killing your own family? He talks about the sin involved, the destruction of the family lineage.
And that leading to unwanted progeny, Vartsakara. That sounds like a really deep societal fear, the breakdown of social and sacred order.
It was, absolutely. These are serious concerns from a worldly perspective.
But the narrative frames these arguments as, well, coming from a place of illusion, a blind conception of life, as the purport puts it, an incomplete grasp of Dharma.
Precisely. His arguments highlight how conventional morality, our usual rules of right and wrong, can sometimes fall short. They break down when faced with these huge, unprecedented situations. His moral dilemma, his confusion, is actually the necessary setup. It's paving the way for understanding a higher duty, a transcendental dharma that Cassin is about to reveal.
And then the chapter ends.
It ends with Arjuna just collapsing, really.
Right.
Overwhelmed by grief. He casts aside his bow and arrows, sits down on the chariot.
Which seems like defeat, giving up.
Symbolically, yes, but it's more like surrender. It's the ultimate act of saying, I can't figure this out. My ways, my reasoning, they failed. He's completely exhausted all his material solutions, his own understanding. And that is the point where he becomes truly ready to listen, ready to receive instruction.
So, wow. Chapter 1 isn't just a prologue. It's not just setting the scene. It's this really meticulous, dramatic setup. It seems to be showing us that profound spiritual wisdom, it doesn't always come when things are calm and peaceful.
Often the opposite.
Right. It often emerges right in the middle of intense personal crisis, confusion, maybe deep existential doubt, those moments when we feel lost.
That's when we might actually be most open, most receptive to guidance that's beyond our usual understanding.
And if we look at the bigger picture, like you said, Arjuna's journey here, from this confused, grief-stricken warrior to becoming this receptive disciple, it feels like a universal pattern. An archetype.
I think so. It suggests that getting to genuine spiritual understanding, it requires real humility, a willingness to admit we don't have all the answers, a willingness to become a sincere student, ready to put down our own ideas, our own weapons, so to speak.
Which brings us to a final thought for you, the listener. Think about the battlefields in your own life, those moments of really tough dilemmas, confusion, maybe feeling overwhelmed. Could it be that those very moments, challenging as they are, might actually be setting the stage for you? Setting the stage for a deeper understanding, maybe, or a really significant shift in how you see things, something to maybe just mull over until our next deep dive.